What is up, my friends? How are we? It is Friday night. It is the late night agenda, and I hope that your weekend has begun in good fashion. We have, as always, a lot to get through tonight. We're going to be talking about Harvey Elliott's recovery. We're going to be speaking about the praise that was lavished on Arne Slot from Trent Alexander-Arnold, and a few other bits and pieces around tactics, who we have available for the game tomorrow, and of course, we'll be talking about the title of the stream as well, the GYOKERES. Excuse my pronunciation of that, by the way, because I know it's nowhere near where it's supposed to be pronounced or how it's supposed to be pronounced, but we'll do our best nonetheless. So, settle in, sit back, let's have a bit of fun. Remember, the Reds are in action tomorrow. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, which means it won't be on TV in the UK, so you know where to be. Right here with us, we'll be live from 1:45 p.m. So, how are we doing? Harrison said, Craig, what are your thoughts on the upcoming games? Buzzing, mate. Honestly, just so happy about the quality of the fixtures. Look, they're going to be difficult. I've no doubt in my mind about that. But, you know, Brighton tomorrow, Leverkusen Tuesday, Aston Villa next Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Then, unfortunately, we have another dreaded international break. But the good news, Harrison, my man, is that's going to be the last international break till March. So, you know, we won't have to talk about it again until then, which is not going to be missed by me. I hate these international breaks. Right, what else have we got coming up? Are you watching Shamrock Rovers versus Waterford? No, I'm not watching it, but I was keeping an eye on the scorelines. It was still 0-0 when I was checking a while ago between Derry and Shelbourne, and Rovers were 1-0 up against Waterford. I did notice that one, but no, I'm not keeping it on, mate, because I'm here with you guys. So look, I guess you're going to want to know about the title of tonight's stream, and I'm going to try and give you some context on it because I do appreciate you being here with me nice and early. So let's get into the stuff around Victor GYOKERES, and excuse my pronunciation again on that one. So there was a report today, and it's another report from Florian Plettenberg over in Germany, and it said, Manchester United could become involved in the race for Victor GYOKERES with the appointment of Ruben Amorim. 4 clubs are currently in the race: Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool and Chelsea. The 26-year-old can leave Sporting next summer for around 60 to 70 million. Now, the 60 to 70 million euro part we've spoken about before. His release clause is about 100 million, but the part of this that I'm saying isn't true is Liverpool don't have an interest in signing Victor GYOKERES. Unfortunately, I wish I had different news, but watch the video with David Lynch. Again, speaking with others as well, it just isn't the right fit for us. And if we are looking for a forward, it certainly feels as though Marmoush is far more likely than GYOKERES. So I just don't think there's any truth to these links. Now, also, as David has said, and as I've said many times, and as many others have said, Liverpool don't get involved in bidding wars when there's 3, 4, 5 clubs going for a player. Liverpool aren't going to be there trying to compete with the likes of Manchester United, Chelsea, City, with regard to the wages and the offer. And also, stylistically, you would question whether it's the right fit. And then, of course, there's the big elephant in the room, which is the standard of football that Victor has been playing at through his career so far. It's a big leap to go from Coventry in the Championship to Sporting Lisbon in the Portuguese League to the Premier League and trying to win the Champions League. It is a big jump. Now, he's done numbers wherever he's gone. That's something that you can't deny. But yeah, he just isn't, in my opinion, and from those I've spoken to, a serious target for Liverpool. So I would strongly disagree with Florian Plettenberg. Now, you're going to see Liverpool linked with him, but I don't think there's anything to it. That's my take on it. As always, I can only give you my perspective and what information I have to hand. And as I said, you don't need to take my word for it. David Lynch was saying similar when we spoke on our most recent video. Right, so let's get into the comments and see how you guys are feeling. Mutz, say what you see. How are you, my friend? Long time viewer. Appreciate you being with us. Say, Craig, how are you keeping? Do you have one eye in the Shelbourne game? I had until I started the stream, and then you guys get my undivided attention. So I'll wait and see what happens. I'm sure you'll keep me up to date with the scores and whatnot. How's it been? It's been an absolutely shit day, mate. I won't lie to you. I went down the rabbit hole of Reddit for the first time because I've never ever used Reddit. So I went down and I started reading some Liverpool threads about Reddit, and I didn't realise quite how hated I am until I read that thread where my name was getting used along with AIDS, cancer, a liar, just constant abuse about me, and it was tough to read. I won't lie to you, mate. It was tough to read. Never been on that platform before, but yeah, it was tough to read me getting absolutely rinsed on there, and it just took me back a bit. I won't lie to you, it took me back a bit. Never realised how hated I was, but not much I can do about that from here. So right, let's push on to some more talk. So, I want to go all the way back to the start of the day, and Vinny O'Connor of Sky Sports saying that Harvey Elliott is out on the pitch doing a bit of running. He was spotted, I believe, in training as well. So, I don't expect him to be back as per our manager until after the November international break. But look, we will certainly benefit when Elliott is back available. So, fingers crossed that is sooner rather than later. But other than that, there are no real injury updates. Still going to be without Alisson Becker, Diogo Jota, Federico Chiesa and Elliott until after the international break. Obviously we know Conor Bradley's back, which is great, and Arno was speaking a little bit in his press conference today as well about the rotation at left back, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a few minutes time. Reddit is more toxic than Twitter, said Jordan. Do you know what though, mate? What is funny about it is there's the same group of accounts that slaughter me across every platform. One of the guys ironically calls himself Truth Teller or some nonsense like that. And they say things about me that quite simply just aren't true. One of the favourite tropes about me is that I blame everything on my autism. Do I? It's news to me. Because I certainly don't remember blaming anything, because I don't remember using an excuse for anything. I put my hands up when I'm wrong on something, and I take any criticism that comes my way. But I won't be lied about. Not forever. It's galling to see, because I would challenge anybody to find anybody in the content world who has a closer relationship with the community, who has reached out more and done more caring things than me. But look, people want to just bastardize my name, lie about me, and destroy my reputation, and it is fucking tiring. It is tiring, I promise you. Anywho, let's move on to talk about Liverpool, because that's why we're here. Right, so one really uplifting thing that I spotted today, and I'm sure you guys have probably seen, if you watched the video earlier, you'll know about it as well. It's Trent speaking so positively about how this squad have received Arne Slot, and he was speaking with Simon Rimmer, celebrity chef, and this is what he had to say. Simon Rimmer said that when he was speaking with Trent, he said he's got 50 clips of me in training, and he said this is a really good position. If you turn your body 8 degrees to the right, you've got an even better chance of making a strong tackle the way that you stand at the moment. So small little changes like 8 degrees to the right will give you a better body position to make the tackle. Then Trent went on to say, I was just blown away. It was really positive, and he said, look, I get it. I completely get it. And here's the part that I like the most about this quote. He said, all the players love him. Isn't that ace? Isn't that brilliant? It's so great to see that Arne Slot has been received so well by the players. And, I don't know if this means anything about Trent's contract extension or not, but certainly is good to see that there's a positive vibe coming from the training ground and from the club in general around the new manager and how he's been perceived by the players. David said, haters will always hate me. Yeah, but you know what, mate? It's tiring. It's tiring because I see others on there being praised who are absolute scumbags and my name getting rinsed. And I'm just tired of it. You know what? I can't swim against the tide anymore. It's too tiring. I've tried to change the perception about me for years now. And it just feels like no matter what I do, I'm cast typed as the villain. So it is what it is, I'm going to carry on and do my bit for the remainder of the campaign like I promised. And then the world will be a better place, the content world, when I'm not in it. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that because as I said, I'm down enough about it after reading all the shit I read today. So, yeah, I'm going to try and stick to the football stuff. So, on the left-back situation, which I thought was interesting from Arne, because we were speaking about whether we think that Costas is going to start at the weekend because of the choice to play Andy Robertson midweek, and this is what Arne Slot had to say about the left back situation and the rotation. He said, I wouldn't say it's a dilemma. There are other positions where we have rotated. Probably is also to do with Robbo's pre-season. He had none. He came back injured from the Euros. He missed almost the complete pre-season. Costas did really well in that period. That's why we started rotating at the start of it. If a player had missed pre-season, he can't play 3 games in a row. That's the situation. It was good for him to play against Arsenal and Brighton. Made sure he is getting into the rhythm. And I hope that's what it is. I really do. I hope that's what it is, because, you know, a lot of us are concerned that maybe Father Time is starting to catch up with Robbo. Injuries have been a bit more prevalent. And I hope Slot's right. I hope this is just a rhythm thing for Robbo, and that, you know, not having a full pre-season, he just needs to get up to speed, because we all want the best for Andy Robertson, and we all want to see him marauding down that left-hand side for Liverpool. So it's good that Arne Slot's trying to give some perspective in his press conference around the situation with Robbo. So we went on to speak as well a little bit about Jarell Quansah, and of course the situation with Quansah that happened the other night. And I like how he's spoken about this as well, because it's pretty to the point, but it's also pretty fair. He said, Jarell played a very good game. The only issue he has is that if there's a moment that isn't perfect, it immediately leads to a goal. In my opinion, he was unlucky. You can't judge a player without those 2 comments, as they were important towards the result, but he is getting better and better. He has shown in the past that he can make these mistakes and it doesn't lead to goals. If you look at his overall performance, I was really happy with it. These things can happen. I like the way he played. He was unlucky with the second goal as well. He's in competition with 2 centre-backs who have hardly made a mistake. And that's true. He is in competition with, in my opinion, potentially the best pairing in the Premier League, if not right up there with the Gabriels and Salibas of this world. Yeah, I think I understand where Arne Slot's coming from there. And look, it's been difficult as well, because expecting anybody, let alone a young player, to come into a squad having not played that much and be flawless around a much changed defence as well. So again, I would just say to people, just give Jarell Quansah more time. And isn't it better that if a mistake is made by anybody, that it's in a game that we win and we can look back on it with a bit less stress than perhaps if we hadn't won the game? What signings will we make in January, said Jay. Well, your guess is as good as mine, Jay, on that one, mate. But it looks like the club are certainly still looking for a midfielder. You know, speaking with David Lynch about that left me in no doubt. So the club are certainly still looking to the market there. Other than that, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of uncertainty around the contract situation at the minute. So I think while that uncertainty is still there, it's difficult to look at other positions with any certainty about what Liverpool will need. So as David said when we spoke during the week, if somebody came in with an offer for Gomez as an example, well, then Liverpool may have to do something. If somebody came in with an offer for, let's say, Costas, that the club were happy with or whatever, then maybe we do something there. But I think we need to figure out what's going on with the 3 contracts before we can realistically look at, outside of a midfielder, what we need in the market. And I think a midfielder is still top of my priority list anyway. I can't speak for everyone, but for me, I hope that we are still looking to that midfielder market. Jabir said, would you start Gakpo as his recent game, which was brilliant, or do you prefer Diaz? I don't have a preference, Jabir, my friend. I don't, mate. They're both really, really good. And I think this is one of the best headaches that Arne Slot could wish for. You know, you look to that left-hand side and it doesn't matter which one he starts. If he puts Cody on there, he bangs in a couple of goals. If he puts Lucho on there, Lucho does the same. So I would start Lucho in the league game, and I'd probably bring in Cody for the game against Leverkusen coming up on Tuesday. So how exciting is that, by the way? No, we've got another league game tomorrow, then Leverkusen on Tuesday, and then a massive game before the international break next Saturday night, 8 o'clock against Aston Villa. So big week ahead, but it could be a celebratory international break for us if everything goes to plan. Mehdi said, a new young left back to support Robbo and Costas would be good. Really like the look of GYOKERES, and I'm sure Szoboszlai would like him at the club too. Yeah, I think, look, I agree with you on the left back situation, Medi. I think we need to look to that. But for myself, mate, I'm looking more to the summer for that one. Because I do want to see how Robbo goes on in the rest of the season. And if what Arna said there about it being maybe just a fitness and rhythm thing for Robbo, if Robbo gets back up to the level we know he's capable of, then maybe we have a slightly different conversation. But I've no doubt we will be looking at the left back market, though, in general. Scott said, Craig, you've continued to build your own great little community here. Don't let them mugs win by walking up. Honestly, mate, look. How to say this? It's easy to say, don't let it get to you. I've been doing this now for nearly 7 years. And I've tried to change the perception some people have of me, and I know I'll never win everybody over, but I just can't stand reading lies about me, because it cuts deep for reasons that are a bit deeper than football content, and maybe others are a bit more thick-skinned and can continue to just go on with it, but I just don't think I'm wired that way. So for me, I think I think it will end badly, and I don't want that to be the case. If you, I'm not talking about people saying my content is shit. By the way, that's no problem with that. That's absolutely fine. People form opinions of you about what you say, your football opinions. That's all sound. It's the mental health and the autism stuff that it just drives me insane, because I never use it as an excuse for anything. I only ever speak about it from the perspective of trying to have a conversation about mental health. And to see so many people willing to just tell blatant lies about me and it to go unchallenged is difficult. When you're being called the AIDS of a fan base, cancer, a liar, a grifter. Fuck me, like, I'm only a human. So I get what you're saying about ignore it, but it's easier said than done when it's pretty much fucking everywhere you turn. So, on another perspective, Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk have been nominated for October's PFA Premier League Fans Player of the Month. So best of luck to both. Obviously, Arne Slot was nominated as well for the Manager of the Month, which you never want the first one. You never want to win the first Manager of the Month award in August. That's a curse. But it's good to see some recognition starting to come now for the great start to the season that the boys have had. Thank you, mate. Just grab a drink, 1 sec. Appreciate you, mate. Thank you. I always appreciated your comments, mate, and your contributions to the channel. Thank you so much with regards to just being a sound guy. Thank you. So, a little bit on Florian Plettenberg again and Xabi Alonso and Bayer Leverkusen. It's believed that Leverkusen, according to Plettenberg, that Alonso will leave to manage Real Madrid next season, despite Manchester City's best efforts to sign him. So it kind of got me thinking a little bit. If that does happen, if Xabi Alonso takes that route to Real Madrid, where does that leave Manchester City whenever Guardiola decides to depart? So, whether it's this summer or after that, I don't know. I don't know who's left, realistically, because you've got Amorim, who was linked to City, and he's gone to United. That was announced. It looks like Leverkusen believe Alonso's going to take up the job at Madrid and follow on from Ancelotti. So, I'm intrigued to see what what City's succession plan there for Guardiola might be. This coming in from Fabrizio Romano as well, said the Madrid board and Perez love Xabi Alonso and they believe he's the perfect fit for the club. They love him until they don't love him, which will be interesting. You know, if Alonso does go there, I've no doubt he'll be welcomed with open arms, but I think we've seen enough times now over the last few years that Real Madrid's love can be quite fickle, to say the least. The Girona manager may be Morganski. Yes, perhaps. You know, he is in the City brand of clubs anyway, so maybe keep an eye on that one. Liam said De Zerbi will be Pep Guardiola's successor. Could be. I mean, I'd be quite happy if it was De Zerbi, to be honest with you, mate, because that is I can see a lot more flaws in his style of football than maybe in Guardiola's. So, yeah, maybe that's the case. And also, you know, we spoke about the impact and the presence of Jurgen around Liverpool Football Club and what a void that was to fill. I think for what Guardiola has done at City as well, I just don't know if... I think they're going to be hugely impacted when they lose Guardiola, like way more than we were when we lost Jurgen. I mean, our recruitment was top notch in that regard. Also, somebody said to us yesterday that there was a channel that was looking to do a video with us and did a little video calling me out on YouTube. No, not calling me out in a negative sense, I should say, but I responded and we're trying to figure that out, so we will make sure I jump on with that channel and get that video done over the international break, because as I've always said, happy to do content with other Liverpool content creators. So yeah, thank you for letting me know about it, because we looked into it yesterday, we found the channel, and then we found a way of contacting them. So, right, on Arne Slot and on the Liverpool contracts, this is what the manager has been saying. The contract situation could become a problem if the players do not perform as well as they do at the moment, although if they do not perform as well, is not sure that has anything to do with the contract situation. At the moment, all three of them are in a good place and they all perform really, really well. So I want to just say one thing. There's been a narrative doing the rounds that Virgil van Dijk has agreed a contract extension and it's all signed, sealed and delivered. Again, I'm going to call bullshit on that, because I don't like Liverpool fans being misled over it. And you don't even need to take my word for it. Arne Slot himself has said that Virgil's contract is still being negotiated and it hasn't been finalised. The manager said it. It's not me. It's not a journalist. These are words coming out of the manager's mouth. So whoever it is that's once again, and I use once again because, you know, these fuckers have form for it, that is lying to Liverpool fans, I hope they get called out for it, because it is just that nonsense. Dylan Lynch, welcome. Welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, mate. Appreciate your support of the channel, mate. Thank you. D. Pierce, how are you, bro? Nice to see you in. Craig, do you see us needing a striker if we can get Dan's, Chiesa and Jota healthy? So, there's a big leap of faith to make there, isn't it? You know, I think we can say that it's not a... What's the phrase I'm looking for here? It's not recency bias around any thoughts that Diogo Jota might have a bit of a sketchy injury record. So I love Diogo, but I just don't feel we can depend on him. I don't, because I think now he's missed 101 or 102 games in 6 years for club and country, according to statistics I was reading. And, you know, we need to have somebody that's going to be there and available to play 30, 35 league games a season. And I don't think Diogo Jota is ever going to be that guy. So, whilst I'm not advocating for us to sell him, I am saying that I wouldn't be pitching the future of our strike force on him. Jayden Danns, you're talking about a young player still with development to go, so I don't think he's ready to come straight in yet. I think you're still probably 18 months away from him having a big impact into the team. And on Chiesa, look, we're all just going to have to wait and see with that one. Let's get him up to full fitness first and see what happens. But the reason I think there's been such a conversation lately around the forward line is, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty there. For instance, we don't know if we're talking about a replacement for Mohamed Salah, or are we talking about a replacement for Darwin or Jota or I don't know. That's what I keep talking about. Uncertainty is just that. It leads to these conversations, and I just think it's either one or two things in my mind. The club are either preparing to bring it forward one way or the other, or the club are preparing a just-in-case list. And for me right now, from what I'm reading and seeing and people I'm speaking to, I would say Marmoush looks the closest thing to a guaranteed target. I think that's the fairest way I can be with it. Mbeumo is an interesting one, Tanya, and I would not say no to Brian Mbeumo. I think Brian Mbeumo would certainly add a lot to our team. Again, just if you look in, I often lean on David Lynch for wisdom on certain things, and when he spoke about GYOKERES, and again, excuse my pronunciation there, he was very clear that stylistically there's some questions about whether he'd be a good fit, but more than that, it's just the level he's played at. It's a leap. So, to bring in players from the Portuguese league directly over, it is a big jump. And there's a big expectation there. So Liverpool have seen with Omar Marmoush as an example. He's been doing it in the Bundesliga, a higher quality league, doing it with Egypt as well. And I know GYOKERES has been doing it with Sweden, by the way. But I just feel like it's a less risky potential signing to go after somebody like Marmoush, or even Brian Mbeumo maybe, than it would be about GYOKERES. And I'm not ready to give up on Darwin yet either. So I'm not ready for somebody through the centre yet. I think maybe that utility forward that can play across the front line just does make more sense. Right. Do you think that the Liverpool squad need to improve their physicality to win these duels? No, I think if you look at our dual success rate, depending on what area of the pitch it's in, we've been quite good. Defensively, phenomenally good. Aerially, Canade and Virgil are dominant. In the middle of the park, I mean, Gravenberch has a pretty exceptional dual success rate. I don't think physicality is a problem with us now. I think we can give it and take it in that regard. I think we're a fairly robust team. I think it's just two things about injuries. Just the sheer volume of football that all professional footballers at the top level are having to play. And a lot of travelling as well, If you're a player at a club like Liverpool, if you're at a club like Liverpool or United or any top club in Europe, you're going to have players jetting off on international breaks far and wide. It's not just like someone's going over to Europe. We've got players going to South America, to Africa, long flights, getting back in, short turnarounds. It's going to lead to more injuries. So this is why you need to have a stacked squad to continuously challenge. And I think whilst our squad is getting there, and it is, there's still some glaring deficiencies that I'd like to see us approach. But the thing that's annoying me the most, and the thing that I just still cannot get my head around, are the contracts. That's the biggest shit show of all of it to me. And my pessimistic side feels like they're trying to maybe drag this out until towards Christmas time, and then it's this big ta-da announcement. And I just would urge the club to get these contracts sorted quickly, as soon as you can, because uncertainty is not going to do us any favours. James Moore said, I say Mbeumo is a long-term salary replacement if he can handle the step up. That's if we signed him. Do you know, I think he would. I was watching an interview with Thomas Frank where he was speaking about going over to Twat when they were signing Mbeumo and being so impressed with him even back then. And he spoke about his development as a footballer between, I think it was around 19 when he initially had those contacts, to where he is now as a 25-year-old. And you would have to say he has been a very, very consistent, high-level performer in the Premier League. And there's a lot to like about Brian Mbeumo. So, I don't know if he ends up at Liverpool or not. I really don't. But it wouldn't be a name that would disgust me or frustrate me if I seen us signing him. You know what you'd be getting there. A hard-working player who will certainly contribute to the team. And I would say would buy into a lot of the ways that Arne Slot likes to play the game. Klopp signing for Arsenal tier said 85 million for Nunes, who had one decent season, nowhere near as good as GYOKERES. So I don't know what you want me to do with that, mate. Like, I didn't sign Darwin, and I'm not the one talking about him not being better than GYOKERES or not. I mean, you're saying this like I made them signings. I didn't. And also, we didn't pay 85 million for Darwin Nunes. Not yet. We may do, but and look, you just answer me this though. Where has GYOKERES done it at a high level? He hasn't. You know, he hasn't. Now, Darwin was only in Portugal as well with Benfica. He had a spell at Almeria. Again, you know, not the highest caliber of club there, with all due respect to Almeria. But I think that was a very unlike Liverpool signing. You know, and I do agree with you. I think he was signed off that one exceptional season at Benfica, and certainly performed against us as well. So I'm not arguing that part of what you're saying. And I don't think Michael Edwards would have signed him if Michael Edwards was still here. Let me say that. DD, how are you, mate? Welcome in, by the way. Nice to have you with us. I know that the point you mentioned was we wouldn't sign a player from the Portugal League for big money. No, the point I said was, when I was speaking with David Lynch and we were weighing up forwards, I said David's words were, if you look at the calibre of player for GYOKERES, Championship, Portuguese League, and then to Liverpool. So look at it a different way, right? Let's just say we do it. You've already admitted that a player who had a good season in Portugal hasn't really done it at Liverpool. So you're admitting that that was, in your opinion, a mistake. So why would rolling the dice on a second risky option be a sensible thing to do? If you get me. Now look, he is a goal scorer. There's no denying that, GYOKERES. But you get my point here? One hasn't worked out, so you're not going to revisit for a similar type of profile player from a similar league for a similarly high transfer fee. It wouldn't make sense to get something wrong potentially the first time and then repeat the same thing again. Dylan, thank you so much, mate. Appreciate your support, really do. And thank you to your mate there as well. Appreciate both of you. So yeah, look, a couple of things, ladies and gents. Today, it is actually 2 weeks today that we're going to be in Liverpool. So 2 weeks from tonight, we're going to be at the Hot Water Comedy Club. If you'd like to come and see us, you know, you can get your tickets either in the description of this stream or with a link pinned to the top of the chat there at the top, surprisingly enough. So yeah, we'd love to see you there, and can't wait. 2 weeks from today. It's absolutely flown along. Doesn't seem like that long ago since we were over in Liverpool in August. So can't wait to meet up with everybody in 2 weeks. So come along if you get a chance. Zephan said, I still think we could chance Nunes as an attacking midfielder. I don't think so. Personally, mate, I don't think so. But look, what I would say about Darwin Nunes is I've been impressed with what I've seen from Darwin Nunes over the last few weeks, and I definitely do think he's starting to find a bit more understanding of what the manager wants out there from him. Are tickets available on the door? I think so. I'm not sure for certain, mate, but I think so. I don't see why they wouldn't be, to be honest. So, yeah, I think so, but, don't quote me, but I will find out for you. Yeah, I don't see why not, though, but I don't see why not. Lothar Barrett said, Salah, Trent, Virgil must sign long-term contracts. We need to get new signings in January. Brentford player, we need to strengthen the team, strengthen the defence. We do need to do some strengthening, but for me, it's midfield that's the priority. And I know that we've got a superstar there in Gravenberch, but, I want two, because I want to be able to have different ways for the manager to rotate, and I want to keep the players as fresh as possible as well. So hopefully we follow through and find this midfielder, whether it is somebody like Zubamendi, or whether it's Baleba, or whether it's somebody else who we haven't even spoken about yet. I just hope we're not talking about this in the summer and at the end of next summer and still looking for that midfielder. It's becoming really frustrating. I saw a post on Facebook saying the old Darwin takes the shot and puts it wide. The new Darwin slides it into Salah and it ends up in the back of the net. Yeah, they definitely do have a good partnership. You know, the assist that they've provided for each other it's top notch if you look at the numbers between both of them. So, tomorrow, obviously, the Brighton game coming up, and we're going to be starting from 1:45, so I hope you can join us for it. And don't forget, it isn't on TV in the UK, unfortunately. So I'm lucky it's on TV here in Ireland, so I'll be able to do the watch along as per. But you know what to do. You know, if you need to find a creative way to watch it, you know, don't forget about our friends at Surfshark. Are we still looking at Tchouaméni? This was a conversation actually that came up when I spoke with David yesterday, and I put to David that if Aurélien Tchouaméni was indeed available and Real Madrid were perhaps losing interest in keeping him there, would he be somebody profile-wise and stylistically that Liverpool would still have an interest in? And of course, whilst we can't speak for Michael Edwards or Richard Hughes or the club, it doesn't feel like it would still be the case that we'd be interested, because it looks like the profile and the style of midfielder that Arna's looking for is obviously different to the one that Jurgen was looking for when we signed with Toro, or when he was looking at Tchouaméni and whatnot. So I don't think so. No, I don't think you will see us go in for Tchouaméni for those reasons. Shay, you're asking me the $64,000 question, mate. Will FSG make funds available for strengthening? I hope so, is all I can say. Depending on who I speak to, some people feel like it's a decision of Edwards and Hughes not to spend the money. Some people feel like the owners won't spend the money. Some people feel like Jurgen didn't want to spend the money before that. So I don't know who makes the decision not to spend the money or to spend the money, but I certainly hope that the money's available for the manager, because it should be. And by the way, one more narrative I'd love to get around, which even in this gentleman that called me out in a good way for that video with him, one of the things as his 3 bullet points was that I'm FSG out and he's FSG in, so we would be able to debate it. And it just kind of got me thinking about it. I guess I am in the FSG out camp, but I think I've always tried to make it very clear why, and there's 2 main reasons. I don't in any way think they're the worst owners in football. I've never claimed that they're the worst owners in football. I'm not as FSG out loud as some others are. I have 2 things that I cannot get past, and I've tried to articulate them openly and over again. The Super League was the end of any trust I could have with them, because they were willing to just throw away our traditions, our history, our affinity with the European Cup, and sign the club up to something that nobody wanted without any consultation. I would struggle to say anybody wouldn't feel that trust was broken at that point. And if it was anybody else in your own personal life or anything, you wouldn't trust them after a lie like that. So that was the end of any trust with them. But on top of that, the one thing I've always articulated is that I find them cheap, and that I find that they aren't backing the manager. And these are the 2 reasons that, personally, I would rather they fucked off and left. But it's the way some people go on about it, it's like I'm never not on here shouting about abusive things about them. I don't. I say the same 2 things over and over again, but it's much easier to just, vilify me and lump me in to a group of lunatics who just want them out at any cost. That's not the place. You don't see me put money towards banners. You don't see me going with the whole they can do no good. They can do good. They have done good. They just need to do better. And I've always said I don't think they have the stomach for the fight. I don't think they have the appetite to win as much as other owners have. And that's where I'm at. And I've not seen anything since the Super League and since the Coutinho money to prove me different, to prove I'm wrong. I think they just don't spend. Look at our net spend compared to everybody else. And the thing that I would say is, we all agree that our transfer stuff has been good. We all agree that the club have been pretty good at picking the right players and bringing them in. More often than not, they've worked. So if we agree on that, and we agree that our net spend has been lower than other teams we're competing against who have lower incomes than us a lot of the time, why aren't we seeing these guys backed with the money? If they're proven quality and they're proven to be good at bringing in players and their hit rate is high, surely that's more that you trust them and give them money rather than less. So there's that point of it. There's the Super League stuff, and there's the, I don't just think they're cheap. Thank you so much, mate. You're very kind, both yourself and Dylan, mate. Thank you very much. Disco Stu, appreciate you. Lots of love up to Dublin there as well. Craig, I love how you've taken over from Klopp. Great performance, putting out results week after week. I wish I was earning Arne Slot wages, mate. I wish, but I'm just really happy with the coach they've gone for. I said it from the start. I didn't want Arne Slot to be scapegoated. I want him to be back because I truly believe in him. I think he's a very impressive man. And do you know what? It was tough because we all loved Jurgen so much. Understandably so, because he's a larger than life figure. So to see the next manager come in, it took a lot for me to be really won over, because I was a little bit, not defensive, but I was a little bit shy about, committing emotionally to another manager like that. But I've just been so impressed with how Arne has conducted himself, and just by his demeanour in general. I think he's a really impressive man in his own right. It's sad Klopp wasn't fully backed by FSG. I'm sure it was the main reason Klopp left. Yeah, and look, I don't know if it was or wasn't, but I just don't see how it can be debated that we aren't getting backed enough by the owners in the market. I just don't see it. Like, I don't understand any argument back to say that they are doing enough, because the numbers don't lie. And for as close as we've been to extra trophies and wins, I would have loved us to have been able to have those couple of additions that may have made a difference and may not have made a difference, but nothing's going to change my mind other than them starting to spend the money. 1-0 Shells, 84th minute. Oh, hello. Hope they can hang on. Obviously, I'd love to see Duffer do it. Like, I really would love to see Damien Duff win that league title. So there you go. Just to bring it up on screen as well, Mutz. Say what you see. Thank you, mate. Hopefully he can hang on. That'd be amazing for him. It's likely 30 million plus will be available for Kelleher or Allison's departure in the summer. So again, we're talking about money coming in because we're selling somebody there. And look, the goalkeeping department will have to figure itself out, and there probably will be a departure there. But just go and look at the top 8 clubs and their average net spend over the past 5 or 6 years, and more often than not, you'll see that we are below them. And that winds me up as a Liverpool fan, because, as I keep saying, we're constantly told how the club's revenues are growing and growing and growing and growing, but we're just not seeing that in the transfer market, and I don't know why. It used to be, I thought for a while that maybe it was because of the wages, and we were told we had a really high wage bill, and then we cleared a load of money off the wage bill, and then I'm looking at other wage bills and just still trying to figure out where all the money's gone, or why there's none available. Like, I don't think they're siphoning off money or taking money from Liverpool and putting it over to the Red Sox. I've never been one of those fans. But I do strongly believe that they are not leaving no stone unturned. Don't want AT. Doesn't suit the system. I don't think he does either, Zakir. You know, Tchouaméni under Jurgen would have been beautiful to watch. But yeah, I just don't, stylistically, well, you know, I agree with David. I don't think it would be a natural fit for the way Arne Slot plays. Doug, how are you, bro? Said Craig, hope you and the family are well. Do you think Robbo is at risk of losing his first team place to Costas? Saying left back is a priority. Thoughts? Well, it was interesting, Doug, and thank you, mate, and I hope you and the family are well. It was interesting reading Arne Slot's thoughts earlier on the whole left back situation, and basically he said it's with Robbo, it's to do with the fact he didn't have a full pre-season and that he was injured and that he's been trying to play catch up basically to get into a rhythm since then. So I'm hoping he's right, because look, we'd all love that to be the case. We'd all love Robbo to come back, say, after the November international break and start to find that rhythm and fitness again, and all to look at it and go, well, wasn't that a whole to do about nothing there? Because we love Robbo, every one of us. I don't know a Liverpool fan who doesn't absolutely cherish Andy Robertson. He's amazing. On and off the pitch, just a great guy. So I hope it's just a form thing, because another few years of Robbo at his best would be a joy to see. At the moment, though, yes, I do think it's a real coin toss for Arne about which one he starts, and I'm guessing we're going to see Costa start the game tomorrow. Mikey said, Klopp looked tired and needed rest. Slot is a breath of fresh air. Yeah, it never ceases to amaze me, Mikey, how, you know, any manager that comes into the Premier League in a top club like that seems to age in the years that they're here an incredible amount. I mean, look at Kloppo when he came in to when he left. Look at Mourinho when he came in versus the years before he left. Like, it's a really high-pressured, non-stop, all-encompassing job to be a coach at a top club. And I totally understand Klopp needing a rest and needing a breather. I totally got that. You could see that exhaustion written all over him. Raging Cajun said, finally a decent Dutch player. My favourite Andy comment. I know, I love him. He's so quick-witted, Robbo. Did I like Brendan Rodgers? So, I went through phases with Brendan Rodgers. Sometimes I found him endearing. Other times I found him a bit cringy. The whole three envelopes thing that wasn't great. But I felt like with Brendan Rodgers, the Liverpool job came too early for him. Now, I'm not saying it would have worked out better in the future or not, but I don't think he was ready to take the Liverpool job when he took it. I could understand the thought process from the owners, looking at him, looking at Martinez, trying to figure out which one and going with Rodgers. But that whole period of Liverpool under FSG, I can totally understand. They were new to the sport. They were figuring out who to trust. They were figuring out the lay of the land. And mistakes get made during that period. I've no problem with any of that. You know, once Jurgen came in, I felt like things changed massively. And the owner's understanding of what we needed and what the structure of the club needed to be, I think that's all been very good. And if they just spent a little bit more money on transfers, I promise you I would shut up. Because I don't have anything personal. I've no vendetta against John W. Henry or Tom Werner or Mike Gordon or anybody else. Far from it. I just say, honestly, from my heart, that I think they're cheap. I've watched all the videos about Marmoush. It would be amazing to have another Egyptian. But does a Liverpool player have to leave? I don't know. It's a very good question. Mad About Football edits. It's a fair question, and I've tried to be honest and fair with my answers all the way through about the forward line. I don't know why. No, I don't know why. I don't know the parameters for Liverpool looking at a forward. So I don't know if it's to supplement what's here, or if it's as a possible replacement, or if it's a worst case scenario if Mohamed Salah's contract isn't extended. I truly don't know, mate. I hope that the club have a definitive answer in their minds that maybe one player isn't going to work out. And I've nothing against the club being ruthless, by the way. I love a bit of ruthlessness, me. I think it's needed at top level sport. That's why I was so supportive of Slot's decision to remove Kwanzaa the other night, because I looked at it maybe a little bit differently than some others. Some people felt it was harsh hooking him off like that with 4 minutes to go, and there's no denying that that would have hurt young Kwanzaa. But my mindset and the way I looked at that situation was that I thought it could have been worse for Kwanzaa if he stayed on a week and they equalised. So I thought what Arna was doing there was kind of acknowledging that there was a situation, protecting Kwanzaa from the very worst case scenario, and also just trying to make sure we got the result, because once the result is in the bag, you can work on building Kwanzaa's confidence back up, and you can talk with him, and he probably isn't going to feel as bad because it hasn't impacted the team in a negative way. We still won the game. So that's where my mind went when he made that change at the end of the game. I thought that he was just protecting everybody, protecting the result, and trying to just make sure it didn't get worse. Alex said, not bad owners, just wish they spent more money. Even teams like Brighton, Ipswich and West Ham spend more money. Yeah, and that's exactly where I'm at. Like, I don't have any vendetta against FSG. And I'm not somebody who won't acknowledge their good stuff. They have been very good in very many ways. But as fans, like with a player or with a coach, we want near perfect, right? Our levels and our thresholds are high. So if we expect the players to perform at the top level and we expect results from them, I think it's reasonable for us to expect the owners to leave it all out there, like we do with the players. And that's the fairest I can be about it. So if people want to continue to lump me in as an FSG out nut job, I can't really do much about that other than explain my position over and over again. Which is there's two things for me. Slot was ruthless when he took Kwanzaa off. I don't see it that way though, mate. I can see how others would, and I'm not saying you're wrong and I'm right. I'm just saying that, let's say Kwanzaa stayed on, right? Let's just play out a different scenario for a second. Let's say Kwanzaa stayed on the pitch, and even without it being anything to do with him, we conceded a third goal, and then we lost on penalties because it was going straight to penalties. How do you think that would have impacted Kwanzaa mentally? Versus, yes, you made a mistake, and yes, you got taken off, but your mistake didn't cost the lads the next round of the cup. So you're only looking internally then and thinking, how do I make sure I don't make this mistake again? Because we all know if you feel like you've let down your group, your teammate, your community, it's going to feel 10 times worse on you. Even if your teammates put an arm around your shoulder and say, look, it's not on you, mate. We win together, we lose together. I'm sure everybody will do and say the right things, but I know as a human being how I'd feel. And I'd feel like I let everybody down if I cost them a quarter-final place in the cup. So I think it was smart what Arna did. Red is the colour, 1892. Thank you so much, mate. Said, Craig, I've been in the chat for months. Listening to you helps keep the demons at bay. Keep up the good work. I'm so glad that Craig was a red. Thank you, mate. Appreciate you. I always thought that the good outweighs the negative for me with regards to the feedback in the community and what I get. But, you know, as I've said today at the start of the stream and again, I think I'm only kidding myself. I don't think I'm ever going to win people over, and I don't think I'm ever going to really be able to express myself in a way that pacifies some people who just have made their mind up about me, and I'm not subjecting myself to it anymore, because I know it'll end badly, because I know me. So yeah, as I said, I've been wrestling with a decision for days, but today, going on for the first time ever, by the way, because I've never used Reddit before, and to see my entire makeup as a man being trashed, I don't ever want to read that again. I don't ever want to see that about myself again. I deserve better than that. So the only way I can control that is to not be part of the conversation anymore. Because, you know, I've said this from day one. I was in this to try and make connections and to build a better life for my family. But that better life for my family can't come at the expense of my self-esteem and my health. So, yeah, you know, it is what it is. Do you think Brighton comes in exceptionally hungry tomorrow after taking a loss from us recently? And if so, what's your best way to prepare / respond? No, I don't. I think Brighton only know one way to play, which is to come and attack and to get bodies forward with a lot of energy. And that's the makeup of their squad. No doubt they're going to try to take some type of, I don't want to say retribution, but you'd use it if you were in that position or I was in that position. I'm sure we'd probably use the loss as a way to G up the dressing room. But I just think we're too good for Brighton if we play well. And I think this is going to be comfortable. I feel a comfortable win on Saturday, or tomorrow I should say. Yeah, personally I just think 3-0, and I think we're going to just lay down another marker tomorrow. And I think this is going to be one of our bigger wins of the season. No disrespect, because I really enjoy watching Brighton and their style of football, but I think they're tailor-made for us. Like Bournemouth, I always think they're tailor-made for us as well. Jess, thank you, Jess. Let me just get your comment up. Honestly, I think you're the best Liverpool channel out there. Stay strong, much love and support always. Thank you. Appreciate you. Look, no matter what anybody else says, what they cannot take away is that we became the most watched fan channel in the Liverpool fan world. And I'm incredibly proud of that, Jess. But I'm tired trying to convince people that I hold in high esteem that I'm a decent person, and that's it's tiring being judged constantly by people that have probably never held a conversation with me, but go so far as to slaughter my reputation. It hurts. Mutz, yay, thank you, mate. It's all over, Craig. Shells are champions. 20-year wait is over. Delighted for Duffy, and some good news today for you and your local team. Delighted for Damien Duff more than anything, mate. What a great servant to Irish football, and what a great outcome from, you know, I thought it was slipping away. Look, I'm not the biggest League of Ireland fan, nor would I profess to be, but it is a very proud moment to see Duffer do that with Shelbourne, and you know, to see Shelbourne come back up from being relegated down to the first division, back up to the Premier Division, and today to just about pip Shamrock Rovers to the title on the, you know, going into it head on the last day, but knowing only a win up at the Brandywell was going to be enough. Even a draw would have seen Rovers champions. So yeah, I'm absolutely delighted for Duffer and everybody associated with Shells. Sean said, the more you're in the public arena, the more people like to take a pop. So you just have to push them to one side. If you convince people to like you, then they're not worthy. So the club doesn't like me. Other Liverpool content creators from the city don't like me. Many people on fan forums don't like me. And that's fine. I don't mind not being liked. What I do have an issue with is the blatancy of the lies, about my mental health and about me using an excuse about my mental health or my autism for things which I've never done. Never once. And, my kids are getting old enough now that they're seeing this stuff and reading this stuff. And I don't want that to be the legacy they remember of me. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I don't want to become a statistic. Just one sec. Something caught my eye today from George Schmadtke that I wanted to get your opinion on because it's concerning around Salah, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. Excuse me. Speaking about Salah and the Saudi Pro League, Schmadtke said, I don't know, but it's entirely possible that this will happen, Salah moving to Saudi. The Saudi League is developing every year due to more money being invested in the competition. The Saudi League deals have affected the work of some European clubs, but the matter does not rise to the level of harm, and I welcome working in it if I receive a good offer. So for me, when I'm looking at that, I'm seeing George Schmadtke asking for a job and not wanting to insult the Saudi Pro League when he spoke about the Mohamed Salah side of it. Because I think if you asked anybody, they would say Salah's too good to be going down that many levels now. And I think Schmadtke knows that as well. But, the last line of his quote there was so telling when he said, the Saudi League deals have affected the work of some European clubs, but the matter does not rise to the level of harm, and I welcome working in it if I receive a good offer. So I think that was more a pitch for him to work over there than, a direct warning about Salah's impending move or anything. Right, Mad Football Edit said, I really want all the transfer rumours to be like the Zubamendi one. I really hope FSG can actually work something out now. I'm finding it really hard to gauge if perhaps David Lynch knows a little something I don't know about the Zubamendi stuff, because there's almost, how do I say this? There's almost like a glint in his eye when we come back to speak about Zubamendi, and David's always been very forthcoming with his perspective on it all, and I just wonder, we keep having this conversation as fans about if he changes his mind, Liverpool will be willing to go back in, blah blah blah, but we've never seen that indication from him that he feels he's changed his mind. I just wonder at times, have the club been maybe chipping away in the background still, or is it completely dead and buried? David often points to the fact that we still haven't seen Zubamendi sign on a new deal with Sociedad as an example. Aaron said, your autism is actually what makes you the best content creator. You see, the thing is, mate, whenever I speak about autism, Asperger's, mental health, anything like that, I do it to try and show people that it doesn't define you and that it doesn't make you one thing or another. But that honesty and that openness has been hijacked by people who say that I use it as an excuse for bad behaviour. And that is fucking sickening to hear, to see, to read. Because find me one example, just one, of a time where I've said, I did this because I'm autistic, or I went in on somebody because I'm autistic. Find me one example of that and I'll quit. But it doesn't exist. because I never have. But it's still these lying fucking low-life scumbags with impunity can go on every platform and destroy my reputation. And we all know that shit sticks. So a narrative gets formed and people think of you in a certain way. And no matter what else you do, you get tired arguing with them. And you get tired of fighting your own corner. So, as I said, I've tried. I've gave it my best shot. I've been me for 6.5 years. It is what it is, you know? Rudy said, I'm from Liverpool, but I think you're the most genuine fan channel. I've got no time for local channels. They all seem to have this I'm from Liverpool, I know more than everyone else mentality. So I've never been able to reach out to the local channels, the two big ones, the Anfield Rap, Redman TV, and get anything even diplomatic. You know, it's definitely been looking down their nose at us, which is, you know, their prerogative. But I've spoken about this quite a bit. There is a two-tiered system of fandom around Liverpool that a lot of people won't acknowledge because it's a difficult conversation. But, you know, I want everybody to get on, and I want everybody to do what they love and talk about the club that they love. And I don't understand this fear of cross-pollination or the difference of opinions, as an example. Why are difference of opinions always a bad thing? You know, chat with people, talk about it, figure it out. If I'm wrong on something, tell me why I'm wrong on something. You know, it's tiring. It's tiring because it's not a level playing field. You know, you're swimming against the tide, against established things. You're being blacklisted. It's just tiring when you're supposed to enjoy this, and you're supposed to enjoy the club and the club's ethos and what brought you to become a fan and all this stuff, when a lot of it is just phrases. It's not a lived experience, you know. You'll never walk alone is a marketing phrase a lot of the time that, you know, unfortunately hasn't been my lived experience a lot of the time. Did you see All Red wanted to do some content with you? Yes, I left a comment on his video, and I think Connor reached out as well on Twitter, but I might be wrong on that. But yeah, I told him no problem, happy to do it. Probably going to be during the November international break, because that's when I'm going to have more free time. But yeah, look, as I've always said, mate, if anybody wants to do content with us, reach out to us and we'll make it happen. So yeah, happy to do it, and always happy to do it. And he seems like I don't know much about the channel because I've only had a quick glimpse at it, but certainly the dude in the video seemed like a very positive, upbeat guy, and infectious in his like of Liverpool Football Club. So they're the type of people I want to make content with. So absolutely. Let's be honest, you can't be doing that bad of a job at almost 280k subscribers. Yeah, maybe not, but you start to ask yourself questions then, like, well, am I a channel that people watch when Liverpool lose? Am I a channel that people want to laugh at? Am I watched because people think I'm deluded? You know, you don't know what your subscriber is made up of, you know. I know the great group of people I chat with every night, of course, you know, and I appreciate the shit out of you all. But look, I'm just going to be honest and say today was very tough. It was just a tough day to read so much negative stuff about you from people I've never spoken to. New Age Critique said, hey Craig, been watching your channel for only a few months, but your realness and niceness stands out These are things missing from a lot of fan channels. Look, I don't really watch a lot of fan content, so I don't really know how others act or, what way they go about their work. I don't really pay too much attention to it because, I'm busy and I enjoy what I do. But in general, the world at the minute, outside of football, just feels like a place where it's chaotic and there's a lot of anger and there's a lot of frustration and there's a lot of division. And I don't like that as a person. And I've always tried to speak up on certain things that mean a lot to me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I'm kind of going around in circles, but just, I got to be honest and say, it gets tiring trying to justify your existence to people. Craig, ask yourself this. Do you look under your wheel arch of your car for dirt after a journey? Same principle at play. I don't know if I've ever looked under the wheel arch of my car for anything, to be honest with you. I probably should at some point. I don't like these shows being on about me, by the way. I don't like it at all. I like them being about you guys. I don't want to come on here to talk about my feelings all the time because, I don't want to depress people. But when you as a person feel vulnerable and you feel unlikable and you read stuff that reaffirms how low you think of yourself from other people, it's only natural that you feel like... So, look at it this way. Confirmation bias can be good and bad, right? So for me, I've low self-worth and don't think much of myself. So when you see the negative stuff, it just reaffirms to yourself that what you think about yourself and how low of a worth you have, others are feeling the same. It's tough. And in our industry, there's been people who unfortunately haven't walked away before it's cost them too much. And I don't mean financially. And I don't want to follow my parents' footsteps. So, for the last half hour or so, let's just stick to football, and forget about the bullshit and our stresses because, it's the weekend. Let's stick to the football and stick to the positive stuff. So, tomorrow, give me your predicted 11s because I think we're going to see... Tough one. I think we're going to see Kelleher, Trent, Costas, Canade, Virgil, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Salah. I think we'll see Diaz tomorrow, and I'd go with Gakpo then on Tuesday. And then through the centre, Darwin. And I'm sticking with my 3-0 win, by the way, for tomorrow. And then, by the way, and I don't know how this has snuck up on me, but I only realised about the Leverkusen game yesterday. I forgot. In my mind, when the Champions League draw was made, we knew that we had Real Madrid and Leverkusen coming to Anfield. I don't know why, but in my mind, that was, I don't know, in the distant future. But it's Tuesday. Wow. Alonso coming back to Anfield on Tuesday, and I guess now we finally get to answer the question about Liverpool and Leverkusen, right? Because last season there was lots of talk about what if we played them in the Europa League final, or what if we met them. Well, now we're going to get the answer to that question. They come to Anfield on Tuesday, and I firmly believe we're going to win. I've always believed we'll have Leverkusen's number, and I believe that's going to be the case on Tuesday. I think Anfield's going to show up. I think it's going to be loud. I think Alonso will rightly get the great reception he deserves when he comes back in, because we're nothing if we're not a respectful fan base. And I'm sure he'll get a nice round of applause. But then when the whistle goes, he'll see the other side of Anfield, and he'll feel the force of Anfield like he used to do as a player. And I think we're going to again underline our credentials as the real deal on Tuesday. Let me just get this one up. The Facebook Network said, what's your early predicted score for tomorrow? I'm going 3-0. 3-0, mate. I'm going for a win. And a handsome one at that. So 3-0, and Kloppo to be... Or not Kloppo. See, I'm still Kloppo on the brain. And Slot to be able to make a couple of changes to rest a few people up ahead of Tuesday. So, yeah, that's my early prediction. No, I've already done that one. Sorry. On the next one, TOTT2KZ1. All aboard HMS Pista League. Yes, mate. Let's get on board. I love that, by the way. I think Izzy was the first one I seen post that in our Discord group a long time ago. So yeah, absolutely. Let's board HMS Pista League. Jeff, how are you, bro? Said, I'm 100% behind you. You're an individual with so much integrity, and I love you, top man. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you, Jeff. It's always been a pleasure seeing you in the chat over the years, mate. Monkstown Glass, thank you as well, sir, for gifting 10 Anfield Agenda memberships. Means a lot. They've gone to Baz P, to Scott Aylesbury, or Aistbury, sorry, Scott, to Julian, to Roy Starling, the Madge, the Facebook Network. Nope, you've already got one. Rizzo, Licktastic, what a good name that is. Joshua Roberts, Calvin, and who's the last one? Phoenix Rising, and then the last one to Leanne. Thank you, Monkstown Glass. That's really kind of you, mate. Is the game live tomorrow? It isn't on TV in the UK. I'm able to watch it in Ireland, and I believe it's on in the States and in other places. So you might have to get creative if you want to watch it in the UK tomorrow. And look, we know if you want to get creative, Surfshark is the way to go. Musiala being linked over and over. I see Slot wants him apparently. Look, I would love Jamal Musiala to come to Liverpool. God almighty, I'd love it. But I really just don't see it happening. I don't know. It's weird though, because I don't think there's any reason why, if he leaves Germany and Bayern Munich, why we couldn't be a choice for him. You know, I don't know if I've been pre-programmed to just believe now Liverpool won't ever go head-to-head with anybody for a player, because there's not been many times recently where we've gone head-to-head with a club over a signing and got it done. The only time I can think of in recent memory was Darwin. No, not Darwin, Diaz, when Spurs were trying to get Lucho and we got it done really quickly and got the deal signed, and Lucho was a Liverpool player. And I don't know why we don't. I don't know if it's because the club feel that value goes out the window if you're kind of in a bidding war, or... But, you know, the best players are always going to attract a lot of attention, aren't they? So, I would love to think we'd be in that mix if Musiala ever decides to move on. Charlie said, hey Craig, come the end of the season, what do you think the minimum points total is for this season to win the league, whether it's Liverpool, City, etc.? Good question. I'm going to say 92 to 95 is probably nearer the 92. I don't think... Yeah, I'm comfortable around that. The low 90s would be probably what it'll take to win the league. And again, these points tallies in recent years have been disgustingly high when you look back at what others before, the whole City era have won the league with, what points tallies. For us though, my aim has always been for Ireland to just beat the points tally of last year and then see where we end up. So, let's wait and see what happens. If we can beat the 82 or 83 points we finished with last year, that's progress. I do get the feeling though this season there's a real chance for somebody, because it's going to get tasty for Man City with the whole stuff around their hearing and the Guardiola's future and De Bruyne and Rodri being out for the season. Like, there's a chance. There's a big chance for us in Arsenal to wrestle that league title away from City this year, and I want us to be the ones to do it again. We won the race to sign VVD. That's fair. But I think I said the last one, so I did say we've done it before. But that's fair. There was certainly a lot of interest in Virgil van Dijk. And it was great to win that race as well. Nomad said, City aren't the same animal this season. No, they aren't. They definitely seem more vulnerable to me. And I know that they've continuously ground out results, but they don't look the same team. They don't have the same fear factor to me as the City of years gone by. Like, whatever anybody says, no De Bruyne and no Rodri, that's a lot for any team to be without. SPV, we were speaking about Shells earlier on, mate. I'm so happy for everybody associated with Shelbourne, and of course Damien Duff, an incredible servant to Irish football. For him to lead Shelbourne to the title is remarkable, so delighted for him. Did you see Salah jumping over Canada at training recently? How funny was it? I didn't see it, no, I didn't. I've been just trying to catch up, because believe it or not, I had to record the preview for the Brighton game pretty much after the other game ended. And tomorrow night as well, we're going to be doing the match day content all day tomorrow. And then I'm going to be recording the Leverkusen preview already tomorrow. The games are coming that fast at the minute, so we've got a short turnaround, but thankfully we're at home. So we're home Saturday, we're home Tuesday, and if memory doesn't escape me, I think we're at home to Villa next Saturday. Let me just double check that one actually. I think it's Villa we're at home to. Let me just double check. Next Saturday. Yeah, home to Villa at 8 o'clock. So 3 home games to head into the international break with. So no travelling over the next week for the manager and the players. So 3 big games to come. And if we can go into the international break with 3 wins, remember what they said a week or two ago, that this period of 7 games in 20 days could be a defining period in our season. And we've beaten Chelsea, and we've drawn with Arsenal, and we've won against Leipzig in the Champions League. We've beaten Brighton in the League Cup, and we're into the quarter-final with an away trip to Southampton. If we can beat Brighton, beat Leverkusen, and get a positive result against Aston Villa, I mean, well done to Arne Slot and the lads for navigating through what is a difficult run of games. Nazar said, Craig, I just don't see the appeal of Madrid. As lifelong Liverpool fans, surely reaching the peak with Liverpool is the pinnacle. I mean, I can see the appeal of Madrid to some, but I think if you scratch beneath the surface at Madrid, the glossy sheen that's around the club, you then start to see some of the grubby stuff, like the disrespect towards some players from their fans, the fickle nature of they love you one minute and then they throw you under a bus the next minute, and that applies higher up as well. And then you've got the whole thing about the Super League and the fact that they're still attached to it and that nobody knows how that's going to pan out. Like, I found it hilarious to hear Real Madrid speaking about Madrid not going where they're not respected, while at the same time sticking two fingers up to the Champions League and want to go off and form the Super League while still playing in the Champions League as defending champions. That whole thing just seems batshit crazy to me. So I hope Trent looks at it and thinks, well, look, they're turning on Bellingham already over there, some of the Madrid fans, and certainly the media. And he helped them last season to a Champions League and a league title. And this season, despite the fact that, you know, it's not just him that haven't been at the levels required for Madrid, he's come in for a lot of criticism there. And I hope Trent looks at that and thinks, I probably don't need that. Fozzie said Bale as an example. Yeah, and Ronaldo, mate. They booed Ronaldo. Ronaldo. Like, I'm not Ronaldo's biggest fan, but what he achieved at Real Madrid, he should be able to go out there and have a piss in the centre circle and be applauded if he wants. Like, it's mental to me that they actually had the barefaced cheek to be so petulant. Remember, this is the club that when they were unveiling Eden Hazard as a €100 million signing, in the stadium, at that moment, there were fans holding up "We want Mbappe" signs. As they're unveiling a £100 million player who was saying to them, this has been my dream as a footballer. And they're there, yeah, cool bro, but we want Mbappe. And then they get Mbappe, and now they're going in on him. The media and the fans going in on Mbappe. To me, it is like the spoiled brat of football is Real Madrid. And by the way, United and Sky can fuck right off, by the way. 21 separate pieces I counted today around Amorim. 21. Be it video clips or articles or puff pieces. 21 around Amorim. Don't try and tell us that Sky are not very Manchester United centric, because it's embarrassing at times. Chris, how are you, bro? From Birmingham, mate. Appreciate your support. Thank you, Chris. Do you think Arsenal are out of the title race? No, I wouldn't say they're out of it, mate. No. 4 points, 5 points over City, 4 points behind us. No, they're not out of it, but they're certainly not in the position they'd want to be, right? You know, I'm certainly more happy about where we are, you know, but it's funny looking at it, because in the media a lot of the time they're still being spoken about as the most likely to challenge Man City, and yet here we are going toe to toe with them again and still not getting the same acknowledgement from some parts of the media. Now there's two ways to look at that. You could look at that from the perspective of, well, grand, we'll go under the radar and continue to do our thing, or you can just look at it disrespectfully, and probably a bit of both, to be honest with you. I don't mind us going under the radar and going about our business, but, you know, I feel like, let's say Ruben Amorim came in and delivered 5 wins on the trot for Manchester United. The articles written rimming him about being this messiah would be night and day to what you've seen about Arne Slot, which is still a case of, like, on Sky Sports, I seen Neville standing there talking to Carragher, lying straight to his face, and nobody pulling him up on it. Neville was saying, well, Liverpool had to go down for their 3rd or 4th choice manager. Did they? Liverpool were rejected by X or Y. Were we? Where's the proof of this? Like, nobody challenged them. He's there denigrating Liverpool again, and nobody challenged them. Liverpool went after one manager, Arne Slot, and got him. And yes, they would have had admiring glances towards Xavi Alonso, but it became quite clear quite quickly that Alonso was going nowhere. So Liverpool had their target and went and got him. So this bullshit that's constantly put out there to undermine us, whether it's we weren't able to get our top target as a manager, whether it's our players are simulating and diving, and what do Sky do? They keep rewarding Neville by throwing him right into our games. It's like they want to wind us up. It's mental. It's fucking mental. The Villa fan said, you're definitely not wrong there. It was like Groundhog Day today on Sky. After every break, it was basically a repeat of Amram is the new boss. Go back to when Ten Hag signed and look. They had pictures of him chest puffed out in the centre of Old Trafford, red sky background behind him, like he was the heavyweight champ of the world about to come in and issue an ass whooping. And he'd achieved nothing. Nothing. And now all of a sudden that he's been binned off, a manager who has equally achieved nothing, but in my opinion is a better coach, they're already starting the same shit. It's like, how many times do we have to go through this dog and pony show with United before somebody says, let's be somewhat realistic here. It's like whoever comes in is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I find it galling as a football fan to see the pandering down and the rim job on United from Sky. It really just is sickening to watch. And the funny thing is that they all say to us United fans that that Sky is so Liverpool centric, and I just think, really? Go back and count the articles when Slot was announced as Liverpool manager. I bet you're not seeing 21 pieces in one day about it. The Villa fan said, the problem is Sky have their favourite and will shit on other clubs they may not like when their job is to speak about every club. Neville was also the same guy who said we wouldn't finish above 10th. Yeah. Like, I don't think it's too much for Liverpool fans to ask Neville not to be on comms for any Liverpool games, because he hasn't been professional in what he's done. And I don't think anybody can argue against that. Compare and contrast his celebration for Arsenal's 2 goals against us recently with our 2 goals. And I'm not saying that Neville was even anywhere near parody. He was like almost getting the tissues when Saka scored, and then deathly silence when we equalised. It's tin pot. And, you know, and also while we're talking about Sky, they've owed me 650 quid for a Sky Glass TV that I haven't been able to use. And we sent it back to them in August, and we've had acknowledgement from Sky that the TV's back, that the TV is in good order. It was returned in great condition, and they still haven't given us back the 650 quid they owe us. Now, if you don't pay your fucking Sky bill, next week they'll flick off a switch. My wife has made at least 15 phone calls to Sky and has been stressed to the nines, shouting down the phone, trying to get any type of rationale about what the fuck is going on. And we're just, oh, somebody will call you back, somebody call you back, somebody call you back. Meanwhile, I've basically loaned Sky 650 quid, and they think that, sure, there's no rush on that. Do you know? There's no rush. It's only August to November. It's like we all have 650 quids coming out of our arse. Meanwhile, I have to look at fucking Neville and all these other overpaid arseholes. Fawzi said, don't forget the disrespect of not including us in the title race, just saying it's a 2-horse race. Exactly. You know, it was, as I've enjoyed Arne Slot, by the way, going back and forth with this as well, and saying, well, we haven't played anyone yet, until we did. You know, United away was a test until we beat them 3-0. Then all of a sudden it was forgotten about. Chelsea was a test, first real test, and then we beat them, and that was forgotten about. Arsenal away, that's the big one. That's the real measure of where Liverpool are at. We go there and get a very credible 2-2 draw. And still the same narrative. We haven't been tested yet. We haven't played anyone yet. Who is there left? Man City? We can only play them twice a year. You know, it's just an absolute lack of respect. Anakin Skywalker said, look at the way Neville talks about Hoyland compared to Nunez. Both have struggled for form. Yet only one was overpriced and worthy of being dropped. Exactly. Like, look at Anthony. I've never seen a bigger waste of money in my life than Anthony at United. And yet Darwin's been spoken about as a flop. And he had 2 or 3 less goals and assists in total last year than the lad who was robbed of the Ballon d'Or. It's mental. The narrative that they allow to be twisted. Like, the biggest one that really sickens me, though, is the simulation crap. The one about Mohamed Salah going to ground easily. Neville should be ashamed of that comment. Because watch when Kane does it. Neville would be like, oh, he's so clever. Go on, Harry, you're a good boy. Go on, Harry. Go on, Harry, be clever. Gamesmanship, Harry. Salah gets kicked from pillar to post, dragged to the ground, nothing given against them, and Neville's calling him a cheat. Bullshit. Oh, the overlap. The overlap's great, Craig. It's fuck great. It's just a backslapping exercise for Man United loving, with people on there who haven't got the bottle to actually stand up to Neville and Keane and call them out for their blatant crap. It's pathetic. But yeah, it's rammed down our throats everywhere. It's not enough that these fuckers were multi-millionaires from being footballers. Now they have to be content creators, and now we have to all listen to them never ending on TV, on podcasts, everywhere you go. Neville. Nobody fucking cares. Especially not from a Liverpool perspective. My God. So let me just, a quick poll before we finish up on this one. 1 second. A quick poll, because I just want to know if I'm deluded here or not. You know, because I hope I'm not. Right, so I'm going to ask, is Neville very anti-Liverpool in his coverage on Sky? Yes or no? I'll leave that running for a few minutes while we finish up the stream. Ian Wright defended Trent on the overlap when Keane went in for his defending. To be fair to Ian Wright, he has always been very fair when I've seen him speak about Liverpool. I do like Ian Wright, and yeah, I agree with you on that one. Like, somehow, I was over in Turkey on holiday, and somehow watching I think it was the ITV coverage of the England game, Trent scored a free kick, and somehow Roy Keane took the coverage of that free kick and brought it back to Trent not being able to defend and looking like he's never played right back before. When the piece they were doing was about the free kick that he just scored. And somehow Keane was able to take that and bring the conversation around to him saying Trent can't defend. What about Carrot on the overlap? In what sense? I don't know what you mean. I don't know context, Aaron. I don't know what you mean by Carrot on the overlap. I'm sure Carrot tries to stick up, by the way. I'm sure Carrot does try to speak from a Liverpool perspective, but you know, just look at the guests even that come onto it. It's very job for the boys with regards to, you know, fucking Webb on there. Howard Webb as an example. Hey Craig, anything on Jayden Dan's top talent? He's back running. It looks like it'll be the 21s that he finds, you know, his game time in for the minute, mate. I don't know what happens with Jayden Dan's in January, though. I don't know if Arne Slot will feel it's worth keeping him around with, you know, a mixture of maybe some outings with the first team, some with the 21s, or whether maybe a loan is the option to get him game time. Agree with you wholeheartedly on him being, I'm not sure if I brought this up on screen, so I'm going to bring it up now. Agree with you wholeheartedly about him being a top talent, and we should be excited about Jayden Dan's, you know. And do you know what I really like about young Jayden Dan's is how much he wants it. Like, you can really see that he's laser focused in and wants to do well. So yeah, I hope we get. It would have been lovely to see a bit more of him this season, but obviously he had that, I think, stress fracture to his lower back, and you know, the club want to make sure they get this right, so they've been easing him back in as he progresses through and ups his workload in training. The Villa fan said, one thing that doesn't make sense to me is the amount of backing Arsenal have had from Sky this season. To me, they've been awful tactically and play like they're holding on to a lead. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm going to give Carragher a bit of credit here. I think it was Jamie Carragher who said that Arteta's turning more like Mourinho than he is Guardiola, which I think is a pretty good analogy from Carragher. Look, Arsenal are a good side, and they should be spoken about as such. But for a team that haven't yet won anything, I do find it mental that there is almost this appetite for them to be the ones going. I think they want this Guardiola Arteta narrative, and they want the master and the apprentice. They want that whole vibe going, because I just think there is an appetite to have a London club involved in a title race, whether that's Chelsea or Arsenal or whatever. And it feels like they're almost willing it into existence. And to hear Neville talk, as if, sometimes I actually wonder, was he a former Arsenal player when I listened to him? Because, they're the club that he went head to head with most times in title races, or Mourinho's Chelsea. And he talks about them now like they're his best mates. It's weird. Look, nothing wrong with him being respectful of Arsenal, but, where's the same respect for what we've achieved? David Massett said the 5% in the poll must live on the moon. Or the United fans, mate. One or the other. The Orange Man, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my friend. North Red said, Neville's definitely in direct touch with the VAR ball bags, hence the every time a Liverpool player is involved in any incident, he groans and groans. Yep, he does indeed. So, we're going to end that poll. I just wanted a quick straw poll to see. 94% of people in that little quick poll that we did, and it was just a quick one, said yes, Neville is over the top anti-Liverpool in his coverage on Sky. 5% misclicked. There you go. I love it. Right. I'm going to say goodnight, and I'm going to go grab some food and get ready for tomorrow. So, thank you for dropping in tonight. Thanks for trying to get my spirits up as well. But like I said, we'll keep plugging ahead till May, and thank you for everything. I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow, 1:45 for the watch along, and we'll see you then.